Well, as you know, with these broadcasts, we try and give you information behind the scenes or additional information that will help round out your understanding as to what's going on or what has been going on in the past. Now, I have a couple of pages from some material I had for years. I've been looking for it, but this weekend I went through a number of different stacks of paper doing research on something else that I was working on. And this is a hearing before the Senate of the United States. Now, you know all the talk, and everybody knows about the fact that we found a lot of oil in North Dakota and places like that. And we're extracting that through fracking and any number of things. It's caused quite an oil boom. But there's something that a lot of people don't know relative to the 48 states. And again, this is a testimony before the Senate of the United States. And the person that is appearing there said this under oath: "The oil in the shale of the Colorado area is equivalent to twice the known reserves of all the Mediterranean Arab countries. So we have tremendous supplies. The oil in the clay in the south and the Tennessee area represents almost an equal amount of oil to the entire known Arab reserves." Near in Tennessee area. "So I say to you, sir, in my opinion, we can recounsel these differences, and by 1985, we can meet our own needs from our own sources, protect and improve our environment, and do it within the framework of prices which now exist." Ladies and gentlemen, this was the testimony at the nomination hearings for Nelson Rockefeller to become Vice President of the United States under Gerald Ford. And this is Nelson Rockefeller, you know, Standard Oil, testifying before the Senate in September and November of 1974. Now think about that. All we've gone through relative to try and become energy independent. And the fact that we were told that, you know, we just don't have the oil in the 48 states, it's up in Alaska, it's on the North Slope, it'd be hard to get out of there, etc. It'll harm the caribou and the moose and anything else that happens to exist up there. We can't do anything in the Gulf because, after all, it'll spoil the fishing, and on and on and on. Any kind of an excuse. When in fact we had this oil all along in fields that we're not even doing anything with today. And in these two instances, enough oil that exceeds or matches the amount of oil in the Arab countries. Kind of tells you a great deal about the environmentalists and others doing everything they can, and our own government, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter, stopping the fact over the years from 1974 of being able to be energy independent. And there's a lot more to the story, but we'll leave it at that. Just a little fact to know in your head. This, by the way, is a picture of myself in a congressman's office in Washington, D.C. I can't remember the congressman's office because at this particular visit, while I was there, I was in so many of them. And I apologize to the congressman for not remembering. But what he did was he put in the corner of the entryway to his office the stack of regulations that have come online since April 16th, 2011. This stack of books are all the new government regulations from that time to the day that I visited about a month and a half ago. By the way, I have my hand on the stack that is one stack in the back, and that represents 7 feet 3 inches of the ObamaCare regulations. That's all the regulations for ObamaCare alone. So you can imagine, this is the law, this is how big it is, and then compare that to the regulations. You see, it isn't so much the law, as bad as this law is, it's always the regulations. It's how they are interpreted by the bureaucracy. You see, the Congress passes a law, then the bureaucracy enforces it. And many, many times the bureaucracy does exactly the opposite of what the law says. With Obamacare, they don't have to do the opposite. It's so bad that what they're doing is exactly what they want. It is controlled chaos. And it is designed, as I've said before, to bring about complete socialized medicine in the United States, with people throwing up their hands in exasperation and saying, government, please do something. We had one of the members of our staff, a woman in her years, who needs an operation in the middle of next month. I don't know whether she's going to be able to have that operation. It is a life-extending operation. And she's lost her insurance. She just got notified last week. She's lost her insurance because of ObamaCare. She went out and went on the exchange and found out that she was on the wrong place after she'd gone through every click that she could click and start talking to somebody, and then found out because she was over 30, she was in the wrong place. So after, I don't know how long, a long, long time getting this straightened out. Plus she's got preconditions, it's a mess. Now she doesn't know whether or not she can even have the operation because she doesn't have insurance, thanks to Obamacare. And now she's trying to scramble to figure out what to do, probably have to reschedule the operation, and the longer it's rescheduled in her case is detrimental to her lifespan, believe me. At any rate, just another example. But why is it that these people are fighting so hard to keep Obamacare? Why is it that certain Republicans are doing everything they can to put roadblocks in the way of other Republicans in getting rid of Obamacare? Why is it that some Republicans aren't talking about very important aspects of Obamacare that are worse than what's happening in the medical area of Obamacare? Let me give you an illustration of what I mean. And you can see this in the page number in the law is 124 stat.334, and it's subtitle L, Maternal and Child Care Services, Section 2951, Maternal, Infant, and Early Childhood Home Visiting Programs. Let me read that again. Maternal, Infant, and Early Childhood Home Visiting Programs. See, they're not telling you that they're going to start visiting your home, have they? And what is the purpose of these visits? It's to cut down on malnutrition, maltreatment, prenatal care, poverty, education itself, so on and so forth. And it lists the government agencies that are going to be part of this program to lower crime, lower poverty, on and on and on and on. Part of Obamacare, mandated. This is not a voluntary program. These government agencies are mandated to come into the homes in certain areas, in poverty and high crime areas. And then the next section, the next subtitle, depending on how the bureaucracy interprets it, implies that after those areas they will go out across the entire country. At any rate, the government agencies that are involved include the Department of Education. And when you consider that the Department of Defense, the Department of this, the Department of that, et cetera, are all part of this home visitation program, all trading information back and forth, put that together in light of the new Common Core aspects of the school system coming down through the Department of Education, as much as they deny that it is, and the trading of information on your children that is being amassed in the schools. Go to the Common Core site on our web page. Go to the articles that we have on the New American on Common Core, and then see how this was woven into what I've just told you. Now, we haven't even mentioned this in many of our articles, how this is part of an integrated program across the entire United States, weaving medical care, education, and everything else together, mandated through this Obamacare law. Why isn't this John Boehner and others talking about that? There's a lot about John Boehner that people had better wake up and study, because he is not a friend of constitutionalists. Until next week, we'll see you then.